And we'll start with the screen share. Come on, tell me we're doing this. There we go. We're started. All right. Welcome to 2021, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Trevor Beck. I'm with our technology support area, and I am one of our trainers here at the university. Technology Drop-In Thursdays is where we basically take some time where I'm going to do a little bit of show and tell, and then after that, any kind of Q&A stuff. If you have questions, we're going to look at that. So the beginning of this video will be the show and tell. I'll stop the recording, and then from there on, it's just questions and answers, and whatever. Let's take a quick look at what we're going to cover today. So I'm just going to do a quick screen share, and for those of you that don't know, I usually share the whole screen, because the problem is when you just share just this one window, as soon as you try and do something else like a second window or a pop-up window or something like that, it never shows up. So when I do screen sharing, I just say I'm going to show the whole desktop, because that way I can switch back and forth with apps and not have to go stop sharing, start sharing, stop sharing, start sharing. The other thing too is that also means that sometimes notifications pop up on my screen. So if you see that, please, by all means, just kind of ignore it. One thing I wanted to let you guys know is if you are looking for a stand-up desk, Costco has these stand-up desks. Some of the places don't have them right now, but there's more coming in. It's a glass top desk. It's about $350. It's got 3 or 4 save settings, so you can adjust it, save your spot. It's got a couple USB outputs on the side for charging, and the new one has a Qi disc, so you can just put for those of the modern phones, you put your phone on it and it'll charge it. Originally, the first version of it was $350 at Costco. The regular is $700, $800 when I had to go buy mine. So if you want to save yourself some money, that's a cool thing. Some Costco's got them. Some of them are out of stock right now, but when I called the South Side, they said they're getting more stock in, so you might just want to do some phoning around. It's for $350 if you like to do a stand-up desk. It's great. For those of you that have been following along in the chat, I did ask for some feedback. So if there's a link there, it's also in our chat for our tech support or team chat. Just want to find out what you guys want to do. I mean, the format that I do is I post stuff as I get them into the Teams conversations. We do this Thursdays. Is there anything else you'd like to see, whether it's topics, whether it's format change or whatever? So feedback is there. Please, please, please. Constructive feedback is always helpful. Trevor sucks is not constructive. So again, make sure you say something. Trevor sucks because, and then explain why. I've updated our upcoming training. So there it is, mcune.ca/make-me-tech-savvy. And so we've got the Google stuff. We've got some Word stuff. I'm also going to be adding some iPhone stuff and iPad stuff. So I'll be adding that next week. I also have, for those of you that like to create forms, how to do forms in Microsoft Word. Now, forms in Word is different than creating a Microsoft form or a Google form, but some people still like to be able to create those forms and make them into PDFs. So we'll talk a bit about how that works. All right, let's play with fun. Google if you've ever been in a Google Meet, so if you've been working with students and stuff like that, Google Meet is great. And one of the nice things that Google has right now, and Microsoft came out with those as well, is live transcriptions. So I'm just going to open up a new Google Meet just by typing in meet.new. And I'm going to open up this transcription, live captions. The problem that we have right now is there's no way to capture this stuff here, except there's actually an extension. So there's a new extension in here, and it's called Meet Transcript. And when you install it, it's only available on Chrome, but what it will do is it'll capture all this stuff here, all the text that's going on. So if there was someone else in the room or someone in this meeting and they talked, they would have their head. We could actually take a look at who's saying what, and it would capture that. This piece also will capture any chats. So if someone has a chat here and goes, puts in a web in there. So I'm going to put in something like this, throw that in there. It'll capture all of that. And what it does is it puts this into a whoops, where'd my screen go? Come back. Puts it into a a Google document. So I'm going to just open it up here. And you're going to see this is the Google document. And there is the text that has been captured right now as we're looking at it. At the very end there's the chat. So any kind of conversation that we chat back and forth will go in there, as well as I can do a screenshot. So let's say someone's demonstrating something, I click on there, do a screenshot. That also will get uploaded into the Google document. This is pretty cool. There we go. See, it doesn't take long at all. So you basically have a nice transcript already there. That's Google Meet. Microsoft is also going to have this stuff available. It's in the next couple of months, it should be rolling out. That will have transcripts and stuff like that. But until that happens, or if you're in Google land, this is a great little extension for Google Meet. Best part of it is it's free. So I really recommend if you're doing that, you might want to take a look and explore that. That's the transcript stuff. Okay, and again, if you have any questions, by all means, please come off and ask me. I'm just going to take a look at someone as a chat. Okay, cool. Adding multiple events to a calendar. So if we talk about that calendar that I was just looking at, and that make me tech savvy. So let me just pull that up. So here comes all the events that I have created for the next couple of months here. So there's all these items in here. And when you create something in a Google Calendar, you can share it out, and people can subscribe to it. So when you subscribe to it, basically says, take that event, add it as a layer on top of my own personal calendar, so I can see what else is going on within my calendar. And you can do that in Outlook or Google Calendar or whatever. And if you go through the previous chats and stuff, I've put in lots of documentation on how to do that. But to go into Google Calendar and to manually put in all this stuff and adjust and add the date and start time can be quite onerous. So you can actually take all that information you want and throw it in a spreadsheet. The link that I've provided there goes to the original document or article that I posted in this chat. But here's a copy of the template that you would use. And there's the subject, the start date, the end date. Only thing to keep in mind is that the date format is day, month, year. That's the way Google likes it, which is weird, but whatever. And then is it an all-day event, the description, and then the location and that. And then you import that into your calendar. So all you do is I go into here, import this here, and I missed a step. You have to take this data and save it as a CSV file, so it's just comma delimited. Then you import it into Google just by using that, and pick which calendar you want that stuff to go in, and bang, all that data ends up in the calendar, which is exactly what you saw there before. So that's really, really a simple way. So if you've got like a lot of events and stuff, I know I've shown the people at Theater Arts when they used to do their performances, like the dance and theater and music and all that. That's a lot of performances. It was so much easier just to throw it into a spreadsheet and dump it in. But that's a great way to just quickly update and put stuff into the calendar. Can I remind you where the meeting agendas are kept? You mean like where the where this thing is? This piece here? There should be a link in the description for this meeting, but I will throw it in here anyways and put it in there. So multiple events to Google Calendar. Any faculty out there looking for some way to do office hours? This is something that I've shown people for a while. Dave Cato can tell you how great it is. Basically, within the calendar, you create something in here, and this is only available in the Google side of things. But when I create something, there's an event, and most people just go to event, but there's appointment slots. Appointment slots is a bank of time. So my office hours are, let's say, from 9 to 11, Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's what the appointment slots are. So I'm going to have that bank here. So I would go in here and I would add whatever the time is. So I was going to say, what I said was 9 to 11, so 9 o'clock to 11. And I'm going to do slots of 30 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever. Okay. So I'm going to go into more details just because I like to play in there. I can say it's going to repeat every Tuesday and Thursday for the next 13 times. Let's do that. So I'm now going to give it a title, or Meet with Trev, And then I can put in whatever description I want in here. Any of the details that I add here will automatically get added to the calendar. So when the student adds it to their calendar, it's going to show up there. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but what happens is when this is done, here are my office appointment slots. And when a student goes to this link here, go to appointment page. So that's a specific link. You can pass that to the students, throw it into your subject line, whatever. But there you can see all the different options that they can choose at. Obviously, I went from 9 a.m. to probably 9 p.m. or something. But you can see all the different slots. The student just goes in and clicks on that. Remember those details I told you we filled out before? That's where they are. So everything I put into the original will get copied into here. It shows up as Trevor Beck, and it gets saved. When the student saves that, there's now a copy in my Google Calendar as well as the student's Google Calendar. So everyone's got all the information they need, and there's a link there to do a Google Meet, really quick, easy to do. It does not sync with Outlook. But that's fine. You can actually set up notifications. So Google will email you in the morning at about 5 o'clock and say, hey, you've got a bunch of appointments on your Google Calendar. Here's what they are. Here's who it is. And then that way you're aware of what's going on. In Outlook, you're just going to book off 9 to 11 anyways, because that's your office hours. Who you're going to meet with, that's where Google would come in, whether it's from the Google Calendar or the email. David, anything I missed? Anything you want to highlight? You're muted, buddy. Well, David's not coming off, so we'll just pass on that. But he said no. He said everything looks great, didn't you, David? That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So yeah, the calendars are really fun and easy to do. We've talked before. I just want to pull this out again. Receiving an email when changes to a file or a folder in SharePoint has been done. So here's a file in SharePoint. I want to be notified anytime someone changes something. I can go into here, go to alert me, and then I can set up. So here's who's all going to get alerted. And then it's going to be an email, and then I can choose, is it any change? Is it only changes someone else does? Because obviously I don't care about changes I've done because they're my changes. But you can set that notification up to be right away or end of the day, end of the week, depends on what you want. So in SharePoint, really handy that you can keep track of stuff, send it off, and then just ignore it until someone actually makes a change. Then you'll get notified and be aware of that. Ringtones. Oh, this is so cool. Let me find my other window here. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to this window here. So I'm gonna go up into my settings. And I don't know if this has been there for a while or how long it's been there, but if I go to calls, there's a new ringtone. You can pick between a whole list of different sound effects. So it doesn't have to be the same sound effect that you're used to. You can get all sorts of new sound effects available to you. So not earth-shattering, but it's kind of nice to have a change for it to stand out. So you can go and change your ringtones there in Teams. Last thing I want to talk about is employee IDs. Microsoft has all these tools. There's something called Power Automate, which basically is if someone does this, then do this, then do this. Then it has something called PowerApps, which basically takes all these different elements and puts them together. PowerApps are available if you go from Teams and you just go to the 3 dots here. If you don't see it, you can just search for it, but there's PowerApps. So there's all sorts of PowerApps that you can create if you're knowledgeable, which I am not yet. Or else there is PowerApps available that you can just grab the template. So one of the apps that I found is called Employee Ideas, excuse me. Basically, it's kind of like if you were to send out and do a poll and say, hey guys, what are some good ideas that we should do for coming back to work? It gives you the opportunity to create these places for people to fill stuff out. And then when it's done, everyone in your team gets to vote on it. So I'm just going to pull up one that I've created for my video testing calling team. So this is a channel I have specific to my team. And I'm going to pull up employee IDs. Now this is available to everyone in my team. I, as a manager, can edit them, but everyone else has basically view access and can fill it out and submit employee IDs and stuff. So it starts off by looking at what they call campaigns, which is, what's a topic that you want to get a bunch of ideas about. And you can set a start time and an end time for all those campaigns and stuff. So here I'm going to go in, and I've gone and created this campaign. It's going to run between the September 22nd to September 22nd, 2022. People can go in and then submit ideas. So they'll see, when they go to it, they'll say submit an idea. You can submit this idea, anyone can do it. And then as the ideas are submitted, people can vote on them. So this is really great when you go, okay, let's do some training exercises. Everyone puts a bunch of stuff in. We all see what's in there, so we're not duplicating, phone calls with Microsoft Teams. We all see it's been captured already, but we're all going to give our thumbs up for that. So now I can see what's important to everybody, but everyone also has a way of throwing in feedback. When a user submits an idea, there's the title, the description, how much effort, what topics would you like to see. This is what I have created. So I have customized what fields are going to be available, but the end user is just going to fill it out. And when you go to fill this out, one of the cool things about it is you can share it in the channel. So that means if I submit this idea of, photography with my iPhone, if I submit it, not only would it be there in a place for people to vote on it, but it's going to be submitted in the channel here itself so people can have a discussion about it. So, depending on how large your groups are and stuff like that, one of the things I would recommend is create a new channel that basically says, employee ideas and polls. And then all that stuff can be stuck right in that channel, not get mixed up with your main channel or anything else. It can have its own channel. And that way you don't have to necessarily get notified every time someone posts something to it. Anyways, explore with employee IDs. There's a couple of links in here. There's an overview link with a video, and there's the setups and stuff. And there's my tips there on making sure you get a different channel. That's it for show and tell. Any questions? I know that was fast, but I'm trying to keep these things to 15 minutes, which I know I failed, but that's okay. No questions? All right, I'm going to stop the recording, and then it'll be time for the Q&A stuff.